Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin for your latest Chelsea news, Chelsea transfer news, all things popping off. As you can see, we're linked with Brighton. Once again, we love Brighton. Joao Pedro is the latest name that we're linked with. We're going to get to that. There's some talks in regards to Nicolas Jackson. Apparently, the rumor is we could potentially sell him if the right price is being met. There's some information in regards to Enzo Maresca that his job is safe. He is not in trouble. Nothing can get Mr. Maresca in trouble. Even if we don't qualify for the Champions League, Enzo Maresca is safe, ladies and gentlemen. He's absolutely safe. And last but not least, of course, Garnacho, Alejandro Garnacho. How can we go without a day talking about this serious baller and how we are linked with Alejandro Garnacho, who's going to elevate Chelsea Football Club to a title contending team? This is a player, wow. Madness. Our directors, our sporting directors are doing an absolute madness. So lots to talk about. Of course, lots to talk about. But before we get to all of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've missed out earlier today, all you can eat Chelsea, the latest episode is right there, ladies and gentlemen. I believe episode number 213. There you go. Where we talked a lot about, the Man United game that's coming up, Newcastle battering that we, copped over the weekend, Nicolas Jackson, and a whole heap of other transfer news talk that we've done with Yunus, Matisse, and Javon, who came a little bit later on. So do give that a watch if you haven't watched it as yet. Now, let's get cracking into the news. First up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have a long-standing admiration, I didn't even know about this. It's long-standing, and we're only hearing about it right now. Breaking news. Chelsea have a long-standing admiration for Joao Pedro. Arsenal and Liverpool are interested. This is coming from Sam Dean at Telefootball. I guess he gets a few things right here and there, of course. Look, in regards to Joao Pedro, I actually like the player. I think he's a very good player. But the problem here is, how much more better is he than Nicolas Jackson? I think he's probably better than Nicolas Jackson, but this is not the kind of player that we need. We need an absolute bagsman up front. We need a hunter. We need someone who's so ruthless up front. Osimhen. I'm hearing that Osimhen scored again. That would be a sensational purchase. That would be my first choice. Osimhen. He's a beast. He's a beast. But we're not going to do it because he costs too much money and his wages are too demanding. And that's something outside of our parameters, outside of our policy, outside of our ownership, what they believe in. Gyökeres would have been a sensational pick, I feel, for Enzo Maresca, but we're not going to be doing that. A lot of people wanted Delap, who I think is still not developed, is not fully developed. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to be polished up. He's only a kid. Even that seems to be going towards Man United. And look, all of these names that we're hearing in recent times now, Joao Pedro's name's been added. We've heard Benjamin Sesko. We've heard Ekitike, like ultimate Amiga from Strasbourg. Ultimately, we need experience. And look, Joao Pedro might be a slight bit of a upgrade to Nicolas Jackson, but how much more of an upgrade, I don't know. Joao Pedro probably works best in that Brighton system. Is it going to be the same thing at Chelsea Football Club? I don't know. You let me know, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? Nicolas Jackson better than Joao Pedro, or Joao Pedro better than Nicolas Jackson? Do you want Joao Pedro at Chelsea Football Club? I'm done with dealing with Brighton, man. How much more? These guys are making an absolute foolery about us. Like, they are turning us into the biggest laughing stock. The profits that Brighton are, basically accumulating all throughout the past few seasons, a large portion of it is because of us. We've been funding their budget. We've been making sure that they're having a huge profits in end of financial period. And here we are again, linked with Joao Pedro. Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Not that long ago, we were linked with another striker from them who plays for West Ham. Um, the name is just crossed me now. But yeah, he was a Brighton player. Now I think he's been sold to West Ham, or maybe he's on loan. We are always linked with Brighton. Shamelessly, we're always our owners love Brighton. So yeah, Joao Pedro, as I said, I think he's a decent player. I've seen a lot of Brighton. Um, he can be erratic at times. He can be wasteful as well, but yeah, he's got good shooting technique. He's got ability to score goals. He's fast. He's physical, but it's not the right type for me at the moment at Chelsea Football Club. You guys let me know in the comment section how you feel about this news. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas Jackson. Lots have been popping off for Nicolas Jackson in the last 24 to 48 hours since the loss against Newcastle. And this is the latest coming from Matteo Moretto. Italian source. How much do they know about Nicolas Jackson? But then again, they're linking Nicolas Jackson to Juventus, I believe. Major breaking. Multiple clubs have inquired for Nicolas Jackson, and it is not ruled out that he could be sold if a satisfactory offer arrives. Do you know what? He could probably do really well in Serie A. I can see it. A little bit slower pace in Serie A, get a little bit more time. It's still not a Mickey Mouse league. It's a strong league, and there's a lot of good teams that defend well. But maybe Nicolas Jackson, the pace being a little bit slower, that could suit him. He's always consistently finding himself being offside. The physicality is a bit too much in the Premier League, and of course, his shooting and many other facets of his game needs to develop, and perhaps a place like Serie A could potentially help that out. Look, whether we sell him or not, we shall see. I won't be surprised. I really won't be surprised if we do cash in if the right offer comes in. This is the model that we are employing at Chelsea Football Club right now under the new directorship and ownership. If somewhere around anything above, I'd say 45 million plus, yeah, we could potentially entertain it. Somewhere around 50 million, 55 million, we could potentially entertain Nicolas Jackson to be sold, and his stocks are low since that match against Newcastle. But you know what? We shouldn't just look at that incident at Newcastle and completely judge him on this. He has had a poor season as well. Like, he scored goals, sure, but there's been a massive run of poor form this season. And has he really kicked on from last season? I'd say probably no. Injuries obviously played some part. Me personally, I've said it yesterday that I still think there's value in Nicolas Jackson. I'd keep him as a squad player, as someone who can learn from a key striker. If we don't get a key striker, then I guess what's the point? What's the point? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I know a lot of you guys have said yesterday in the video that you'd get rid of Nicolas Jackson. How much would you get rid of him for? Let me know your price. What would be the adequate price for Nicolas Jackson? Be realistic about it as well in the comment section if you are looking to get rid of Nicolas Jackson. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Enzo Maresca. Maresca shares the same vision as sporting directors Paul Winstonley and Lawrence Stewart, and the internal view is that Chelsea have progressed under him regardless of their final league position and whether or not they win a trophy. Coming from Matt Law. Have we progressed? That's the big question. Let me know in the comment section if we've progressed. Personally, it's neither here nor there. Like, we're in the same points as we were last season. Last season, we finished at 63 points. I believe we're on 63 points right now, and there's 2 matches to go. So we could definitely go beyond 63 points, but it's not going to be by a hell of a lot. There's a lot of players that haven't progressed. There's a lot of players that have gone backwards. Malo Gusto is one of them. There's a lot of defenders that have not progressed. There's a lot of attackers that have not progressed. Last season, Cole Palmer showed why he is touted to be one of the best up-and-coming talents this season. Cole Palmer has scored goals, yes, assisted as well, but I feel like overall his game might have gone a little bit backwards. What do we think about Madueke? What do we think about Sancho? What do we think about Pedro Neto? Have any of these players truly improved under Enzo Maresca? Cucurella, you could probably say he has, but then again, the signs were there right at the end of Pochettino's tenure. You could definitely say Caicedo has improved since last season. You can definitely say Enzo Fernandez probably has improved. Look, overall, it's a change of philosophy. It's a change of approach from last season. Whether we have progressed immensely, I'm not sure. But my point is, and where everyone is getting upset with this situation, is that people are not happy with Enzo Maresca, and they don't mind if he leaves. They want a serious manager. Me, on the other hand, what I'm saying is, I don't think we are going to get a serious manager. Not under this ownership, not under this directorship. We're not going to get a serious manager. They love Enzo Maresca. And on top of that, I don't even believe Enzo Maresca is the biggest issue here. The biggest issue is the ownership and the directorship. The two sporting directors and the owners. That's the biggest issue. Sort that out. I'm not, well, whether we can get rid of the owners, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But in terms of changing their philosophy, bringing some experience, and not just fixated on kids, that will definitely help out Enzo Maresca. I don't think Enzo Maresca himself is a developing manager. I can't sit here and just rip Enzo Maresca apart. I can't. As a developing manager, he's probably done well. He's obviously going to make mistakes, of course. Should Chelsea have a developing manager? No. But then that gets back to the ownership, the directorship, the approach that we're taking to run this football club. You see what I mean? Like, I can sit here and say, yeah, Maresca is maybe not fit enough, but it's not. It's not fair. It's not fair. We've made a conscious decision to bring in Enzo Maresca. And then on top of that, look at the kind of business that we've done over the summer window, last summer window, and over the January window as well, the last January window. Have we really helped out Enzo Maresca? Probably not. Let me know your thoughts. Are you okay with the fact that Enzo Maresca's position is not in jeopardy, regardless of where we finish in the league, regardless if we win any trophy or not? I feel like there should be some level of accountability, but at the same time, I understand. maybe, he's done everything what you've asked him to do. So how can you sack a manager when he's delivered your base minimum KPIs? Exclusive, Enzo Maresca will keep his job even if Chelsea do not qualify for the Champions League. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section. How do you feel about this? I've just said, look, he's not the biggest problem. He's not the biggest problem. Once we sort everything out, then we can truly judge Enzo Maresca. As I said, he's a developing manager as well. Chelsea plan to judge Enzo Maresca in summer 2026. Chelsea believe injuries played a big part in the drop-off, and furthermore, data such as XG and big chances created are in their favor. Yeah, look, I don't like all of these XGs and big chances created and whatnot. Yeah, it's great, but that shows more about our lack of getting proper players. Recruitment probably hasn't been done, as opposed to putting, shining this brilliant light on the manager that, oh yeah, the XG and the big chances are great. It don't matter if we're not bringing results. Do you know what I mean? I hate all of this stuff about XG and big chances. This is modern day football fans. They love this type of stats. But yeah, look, that's probably a fair enough time, summer of 2026, to judge him, which is next year. As I said, and I'll maintain this, if it was up to me, I don't run Chelsea Football Club like this, and I definitely wouldn't be hiring Enzo Maresca. It wasn't my first choice. I'd be getting an elite manager because Chelsea Football Club demands an elite manager. However, as I always say, it's not how we run anymore. This is not how we run. All right, before we get into the final part of this Chelsea news, just want to let you guys know, all you can eat wrestling. Give this a subscription. Subscribe to this channel if you are a wrestling fanatic, or if you just want to see some different content. I am going to be dropping. We did the live show on Raw, just a few days ago when Raw was live, and there was a special segment between Eunice and I right at the end where Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez and Julia happened, and there was a funny segment which I've clipped out, which will go public very, very soon, straight after this. So do give that a watch when you do get that opportunity. You're going to have an absolute laugh. Okay, now, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Garnacho, Alejandro Garnacho. There are teams in the Premier League that are going for serious names. We, on the other hand, we love Alejandro Garnacho. Chelsea remain admirers of Alejandro Garnacho and Jamie Gittins. Both names are just stinky. Absolutely stinky. Next season, we want to compete for the Premier League title. That's my belief, because we've fluffed around for far too long. These are the players that are going to help us compete in the Premier League title? I don't think so. And this is when I get upset. This is when I get annoyed that even if we do qualify for the Champions League, which is still a doubt, is it worth it? Are we going to be able to compete? Probably not. Probably not. Not with this type of players. Garnacho, Man United fan base can't wait to get rid of Garnacho. They're desperate to get rid of Garnacho. And we, on the other hand, let's help Man United out with PSR. Let's help them out with their financial issues, because Garnacho is going to be pure profit for them. And let's bring him to Chelsea Football Club to stink the place up even more at Chelsea. Like as if we haven't learned the lesson with Sancho as well. We need serious type of ballers. Serious type of ballers. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Goodbye.